everyone, welcome back to the channel. I hope that everybody is doing well today. It's been a little bit since I've been on here. I miss being on here, but as you can tell from the title of this video, I've had some big life changes recently and I'm pregnant. It's in the title, so you guys already know before clicking on this. I am pregnant and I've been pretty sick, which I know is to be expected, and so I have not been on here or really on a lot of my social media platforms recently quite often just because of how sick I've been. And so yeah, so that's where I've been. I want to give you guys an update. I feel like I have taken you through so much of my journey in life and as a nurse practitioner and as a human, and so I think it's only right to kind of update you guys on what's going on and where I've been. And so yeah, I've been growing a human. That's what's been going on. Don't mind the background. I tried to like kind of move things around so it doesn't look messy, but it is messy because I haven't been able to clean as much lately, and so things are kind of cluttered. So sorry, the aesthetic is not the best. So I thought I'd give you an update on the pregnancy and how things are going. And if you're into that sort of thing, then definitely hang around and watch this video. If this isn't something you're interested in, I totally get it. You don't have to watch this, but yeah, I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about this. I'm out of breath. So maybe grab a drink and hang out with me for a minute and I'll tell you a little bit about how things are going, I guess. First, I think it'd be fun just to kind of tell you how I found out. So my husband and I, we had talked about wanting a third baby for like the last year. We just kind of talked about the idea and how it would be really cool and exciting to have another baby. I mean, obviously, I think I've made it really clear on here that I love being a mother more than anything. He loves being a dad. Together, we love being parents. I mean, we just absolutely love it. And so it was never a question of whether or not we could love a baby, another baby. It was the question of, you know, making it through pregnancy. I don't really know how much I've shared on here on the channel as far as, I am out of breath. Sorry, that's pregnancy. I don't know how much I've shared on here really as far as like my pregnancies in the past and how difficult they were. I definitely have shared with you guys, you know, I have quite an extensive health history. And so, you know, there are some things that already complicate it as it is. You know, I had a spinal cord injury. I do have like scoliosis and hip rotation, and so back pain kind of comes with the territory. But I'm specifically talking about like the nausea and vomiting. I get that very, very, very bad with, well, all of my pregnancies, because this has been no different. Actually, I would say that this one has been the worst so far because it started so early. By 5 weeks pregnant, I was already nonstop nauseous and vomiting, whereas the other ones were probably not until about 7 weeks when it really started. So yeah, I would say that this one has been worse in that case, that it started so much earlier. But yeah, so I'm going to start with how I found out. I'll talk about my symptoms and how things are going, and then we'll say goodbye. So like I said, my husband and I, we had discussed having a third baby, but we were not actively trying. But there was precautions that we did not take. And, you know, we know what it takes to make a baby. We've done this before. And I was genuinely shocked to find out that I was pregnant because it was a one-time thing that we had done. And I want to say right now that I'm so grateful that I've been gifted with fertility, because I know that so many people, you know, struggle with fertility. And with my history of cancer, I was told I've had radiation multiple times. And I remember them telling me, you know, that I could have difficulty getting pregnancy in the future. And so I know that it is a blessing and I am grateful. And so quick backstory. So I have two sons. You probably know if you've been following along. I have two sons. I have an 8-year-old and a 5-year-old, Caleb and Jack. Caleb is my 8-year-old. Jack is my 5-year-old. With Caleb, he was a surprise. I call it, that's a wonderful surprise. I wouldn't change anything, obviously, for the world, but we were not trying for him. I had just graduated with my bachelor's in psychology at the time, and we were like celebrating, he wasn't my husband at the time either. We were engaged, and actually I was 4 months pregnant on our wedding. The date and everything was already planned. We were planning our wedding, but Caleb was a complete surprise. And then come Jack, we were trying for Jack. Jack was a planned pregnancy, and when we were trying, we tried for 10 months of tracking my ovulation cycle and like timing everything out and doing all the things. And it took us 10 months of actively trying before I went and saw my OB, and she recommended I try like Clomid, which, if you're familiar, it's kind of like helps you to like hyper ovulate. And so I did 1 month of Clomid, and I got pregnant with Jack. But so altogether, it took me about a year to get pregnant with Jack. Again, I know that that's in the big scheme of things. People try for years, and I was still blessed to get him. But so this third baby, I didn't really know, what to expect, whether or not it would be quick and easy like Caleb, or take some more work, and I'm older now, and I just didn't know what to expect. And so we were talking about having a third one, and we did have that one, what it takes to make a baby, and we got pregnant. And so I think that is to say there is something to the idea of not trying, because when we were trying, it took us much longer, and when we've been not trying, it does not take long. So really, I think the stress of it messed with my ovulating or something. I'm not really sure, but yeah. So when finding out that I was pregnant this time was a huge shock, not because I don't know, not because we didn't do the things, and not because I don't know what it takes, but it was vast, and I was very surprised. And so how it happened was, it was in the middle of the night. It was like 1 a.m. and not how it happened, but like how I found out. It was like 1 a.m. and I was on the couch in the living room, and I was doing actually some work for my Patreon, and Jordan was actually asleep on the couch. He works like very early in the morning. He's a teacher, and so he just fell asleep on the couch, and I had to go to the bathroom. And I don't know what made me even think to take a test. I wasn't late for my period. I was not having any symptoms. Of course, I did know that we had done the one time where we didn't take any precautions, and I knew that I had an old pregnancy test in the house, and I was like, I'll just take one. Honestly, I don't know what made me even want to do it at this random time, not late for my period, no symptoms. I wasn't supposed to start my period, I think, till like the next day. So I knew I was getting close, but and so I took a test, and I took one of the clear blue, and I'm going to show you guys, so I took the test, and you know how you look at, like, if you've taken a test before, and you watch, like, the P, I guess, like, kind of travel over the screen, and you usually will see, like, your control line, and then if a positive pregnancy line, like, that will kind of appear. I don't know. In my past experiences of taking pregnancy tests when they've been positive, it's been kind of like is that a second line? Oh my God, I think I see a second line. Like, you have to, like, look at it for a second. This was not the case with this one. I mean, as the P traveled across the screen, it was a glaring positive. Glaring. I still can't tell you the shock. There's no way that I could convey the shock that I was feeling. So this was the test. Let me see if I can. I mean, so yeah, there was no, like, this is older now, obviously, but there is no question that it was a positive. So me, being the healthcare professional that I am, you would not know it, because I immediately grabbed my phone and started Googling, like, if you pee too much on it, like, could you get a false positive? If it appears super positive, super fast, does that mean maybe the test was broken? I mean, my Google was like, I was asking the most ridiculous questions, which, I know the likelihood of getting a false positive is very low. It's more likely that you could get a false negative. But the way that it popped up so positive, so strong, so quickly, I couldn't grasp that it was real. And so, like I said, it was like 1 a.m. and I go downstairs and I wake up Jordan, and I'm like, my husband is named Jordan. And, I hold it in front of his face, and he did the thing where, like, you're using only your, like, forehead muscles to keep your eyes open, because I woke him up out of dead sleep and he just stared at it for like 30 seconds, didn't say a word. And I think he was trying to like process what was happening. And I remember him too. He was just like, the test is expired. That is like what he said to me. I'm like, babe, it's not. Like, I remember, because I had looked. I had been Googling and I had looked at the thing and I'm like, it's not expired. And he's like, there's no way. You know, and he was just like, we both thought like the test is broken. There's no way the test is broken. Everything that I know, all of my studies, everything out the window. I was just like, this isn't really happening. Oh my gosh, this isn't really happening. So safe to say, I did not sleep very well that night. And I had to drop both kids off to school the following morning. And I knew that once I dropped them off, I was going to stop and grab some more tests. So I grabbed 2 boxes. And I went home and the same flippin' thing. So I did 2 at a time. And as the P crossed the little screen, glaring positive, I'm like, okay, so it's not the test. Oh, I feel like I'm starting to see a second line. Oh, this test is very cheap. Yeah, but there's a line there. Oh my God, there's a line there. Oh my God, I couldn't believe it. So I took the other 4 tests. So I took a total of 5 tests and they were all like so positive. So that's kind of how we found out. Going forward, so I made an appointment with my OB. I was supposed to get in, I was going to have an ultrasound at 8 weeks, which I did just have. But in between the 5 weeks and the 8 weeks, around 6 weeks, I started to have, and this is going to be a little TMI. I mean, I guess it's all kind of TMI, but yeah, I don't care. Hopefully you don't care. Working in healthcare, I'm pretty like, and nothing phases me anymore, but hopefully things like this don't gross you out. There's your trigger warning. So around like 6 weeks, I started to have like some spotting. And that obviously scared me a lot because I was worried about miscarriage. I was also worried about like an ectopic pregnancy. It wasn't, so this is the TMI, I guess, part, was like, it wasn't ever bright red. It was kind of like old looking blood, like darker, but nothing like, bright red bleeding, but it came on quite suddenly. And so I called my OB. And, it was, of course, when the ultrasound tech wasn't in. And so they recommended that I go to the ER to have an ultrasound to make sure that I wasn't having, I didn't have an ectopic pregnancy. It was, that obviously, as we know, or likely know, that it can be very dangerous. And so, yeah, so I was 6 weeks. I went to the local ER. I told them, that I was having spotting, and they did an ultrasound. And I have a little clip from it. The doctor was so freaking cute and sweet. I loved her, the ER doctor there, because it wasn't like a transvaginal ultrasound, it was abdominal. And so it's not as great quality at that stage. I was surprised that they could even see what they could see with an abdominal ultrasound that early on. But they were immediately able to see that, baby was intrauterine, so in the uterus, not in my fallopian tubes or anything like that. I wasn't concerned about ectopic pregnancy. And we could see that the baby did have a heartbeat. And so it was so cute because I had asked her when I was there, like, can you print a picture? Is there any way? Even though I knew the quality would be like awful. But she said, the ultrasound machine could not print a picture. So she encouraged my husband to get out the phone and record, because otherwise I wouldn't have done that, because I would have felt kind of uncomfortable. Or definitely he would have, because he's like super weird about cameras. But she's like, get your camera out, let's take a video. And so I'll maybe input the little clip here. Like the optimism that you had. Okay, let me just get out of this mode so then you can see the little heartbeat. Sorry, let me find the area again. Okay. So everything looks like normal then, so that's good. Yeah, that's a little heart rate. Yeah, that little flicker. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That tiny little flicker. So tiny. Yes. So that was comforting. I got to go home and I kept my appointment for the 8 week. Between then and now I continue to have that spotting, which has definitely given me some anxiety. I haven't, that has not made me feel super calm. I did not experience that with my first two boys, my pregnancies. And so that's definitely given me I have a lot of hiccups, I'm sorry. That's definitely given me some anxiety. So when I went to, oh gosh, I'm so sorry. That's a symptom. I've been having a ton of hiccups. So when I went to my OB appointment, they did an ultrasound again. And so I'll show you guys that picture. Baby was wonderful. Baby was measuring right on track. Heart rate was strong. I could see little wiggling. You could see the heart. It's not a great quality again. Let's see what you can see. But that's my ultrasound. So I was, questioning like what could be causing this spotting. So they did identify what they think is a polyp on my cervix, which I don't know that I've ever had a polyp before. And I know, they were telling me that it's likely benign and nothing to be worried about. But I definitely have, I've never been officially diagnosed with PTSD, so I don't want to just throw the term around, but I'm sure that I qualify. I definitely have a lot of trauma related to health in my past, definitely with the spinal stuff. I had a ton of stuff that was extremely traumatic in the hospital. And then when I had thyroid cancer when I was 17, I distinctly remember the conversation when they had found the lump, or when the lump was found on my neck. And I just distinctly remember the conversation of them telling me the extreme low chance that it was malignant and to not worry about it. And then when it came back malignant, I was kind of like, it was just bad luck. I just kept having bad luck with health. And so, the same thing with this polyp, they're pretty sure that it's nothing. I mean, I'm waiting on the results at this time. They wanted me to just rest my mind that it's likely nothing. But I've heard those words before and it's been something. And so it definitely triggered a physiological response. I was shaking and just my mind was racing, and I just felt these emotions that I don't know. It's like an out of body experience. And I think it's probably, a little bit of trauma resurfacing because of what I've gone through. And so I'm currently waiting for the results of that. It probably is nothing, but I've just had such bad luck in the past, and I'm really, really, really hoping that it's nothing. So, if you pray, or if you believe in positive affirmations or positive vibes or whatever it is that you believe in, maybe send them my way, because I really hope that, I'm sorry, I get really emotional right now because it's I'm pregnant. I might have talked about this in the past, that I did have really bad anxiety and panic attacks with both of my pregnancies in the past. Oh my God, these hormones are going to be the death of me. So my past pregnancies, I've had really bad anxiety and unfortunately panic attacks. And so I've been on Zoloft, and I've been open about this if you've seen my previous videos. I've been on Zoloft since I was 20, I think is when I started it. And with both of my previous pregnancies, I tried getting off of the Zoloft because I wanted to be no meds whatsoever. And that went horribly wrong. Both times I ended up having debilitating panic attacks again. Knowing now what I know, it's actually much worse to do that to me and baby than to just stay on the Zoloft. Zoloft is definitely one of the safer options during pregnancy, and I know better now, and I'm not trying to get off of that now, and I'm trying really hard to manage those emotions and those feelings. But something about pregnancy definitely triggers that stuff for me, and so that's hard. That sucks. That's hard. I've never had postpartum depression or anything like that, but I have definitely struggled every time with intrapartum anxiety. And so yeah, that sucks. And I am experiencing that this time around too. Not as bad. I've made a point, and I think I've told everybody. I told my OB, my husband, my family, I've made a point that I'm not going to be silent about it, because in the past I haven't really been open with how I was feeling with people. And that's obviously hard when you're trying to keep it to yourself. I think it's better to talk about it. So I have been open about it and I've talked about it. I've been staying on my meds. I haven't tried to get off of them. But like this whole like polyp stuff is definitely messing with my head a little bit. So I'm waiting now. They said it'll take about a week to get the results. Like, you know, they did the pap and everything, make sure there's no abnormal cells, and we'll go from there. And I'll let you guys know what the results are. Unless it's like terrible news, and then I'll probably fall off the face for a little bit and just try to cope. But I was very, very happy that baby was okay. I mean, I had so much anxiety going in to get the ultrasound that, you know, like that the baby wasn't gonna be okay, and like the baby is good, so that makes me feel good. I just want to be healthy too, because my babies need me, my children here need me. Like I'm not ready to go. And I know I'm sounding super dramatic, but that's like, I think that's maybe like the trauma from the past, because I know that like it sounds so stupid, but I've had really bad luck. Okay. Gonna end on a positive note. Okay, so let's talk about really quick my symptoms thus far. And okay, so first of all, my due date is November 27th. That's 40 weeks. I'll definitely have a C-section. Because of my spinal cord injury, they never even allowed me to have like a vaginal birth. So I've had 2 C-sections in the past, which maybe another video I'll talk about my birth stories. But my second one was extremely traumatic. Actually, my son aspirated amniotic fluid and did code, and the whole thing was a horrible mess. I mean, they're healthy now and everyone's fine, but it was extremely traumatic. And so I have a lot of anxiety going in now for a 3rd C-section. But I definitely will have that. I will likely be induced at 39 weeks. There was talk, they had talked about maybe inducing me at 38 weeks, because both of my previous pregnancies, I went into labor at 38 weeks on the dot. So my first time I went into labor, I don't want to give you all, because I think it'd be a fun video to do like my birth stories, but first time I didn't even know I was in labor. And I was quite far along when I went in for my 38-week appointment, and I had to be like rushed to the hospital. And then my second one, my water broke at 1 centimeter dilated. So that was really rough. But they said maybe that they would end up inducing me at 38 weeks, being that was my history. We'll see. But either way, it'll be by 39 weeks, which would put me at like November 20th would be when baby was due. Symptoms wise, like I said, I've had a lot of nausea and vomiting. This one has been different though. Like I said, it was worse and it started earlier on. And when it first started, those first 2 weeks, I was probably vomiting like 5-6 times a day. It was really, really bad. And I was vomiting and sleeping. That's all I could do. I really couldn't function. It really got to my head. My mental health was really struggling those couple of weeks. It was really bad. These last 2 weeks, because I'm like 8.5 weeks right now, so I'm still really early. I have good days. I have okay days, I should say. And then I have like worse, like harder days. Like this today, I haven't puked once, and I put makeup on, and this is the first time I put makeup on since like 3 weeks probably. 2 days ago, I'd vomited like multiple times throughout the day and had a horrible headache. So it's kind of like going back and forth now. And a little bit, I would say, I have noticed it more strong in the morning and in the evening, but in the middle of the day isn't as bad. And I would say that's unique to this pregnancy, because the other two, it was kind of just like 24/7 nausea, whereas this one does seem like it lets up a little bit like in the middle of the day. I am experiencing a little bit of heartburn now, which I definitely have with both my other two. Headaches, a lot of stiff necks. It's hard because, I had, that spinal cord injury. My cervical spine is fused. And this is something I do remember with my other pregnancies, is I have a lot of neck pain. And, there's really there's nothing you can take when you're pregnant, really, like not much. So, I've taken Tylenol a couple times, which forget it. Like, I don't even know why I bother. It doesn't do anything. Yeah, those have been my predominant symptoms. That and anxiety, which sucks. I hate anxiety. But I'm hoping to keep a tackle on that. So, exciting news though. And so I did the sneak peek test where you find out the gender early. I did this with my second one too. Now they do it where you can have it at home. And so I actually got the at-home kit, and I was gonna record myself doing the whole thing, and then I got super overwhelmed. I got very overwhelmed with the whole thing, and I put my camera away. I was like, I can't record this. I gotta just read the instructions, because it was like so specific about how you do the at-home. It's an at-home blood test that you do, and you can send it in and do. You can find out the gender early. As early as 6 weeks, you can find out the gender. And the instructions are very specific because you have to be very, very careful that no male DNA is contaminated with contaminates your sample. And so you have to like really clean all the surfaces around you, and you have to like exfoliate the first layer of skin off your arm and then alcohol it. And if there's even animal male DNA can contaminate and give you a false male. And so that was like making me really nervous because I'm literally surrounded by male DNA. I have my husband, my 2 boys, and a boy dog. I was just like, it's everywhere. So I cleaned, and I was just like a nervous wreck doing it. I wish I could have recorded it because I thought it'd be cool to show you guys how it goes and like how you do it. But I was so overwhelmed. And then, but I sent it in, and I found out. So I've got 2 boys. If you follow me on Instagram, then you already know the gender of this baby, but I'm having a girl. I can't stop. Every time I say it, I'm like, I yell with it. I am having a freaking girl. I never imagined in a million years that I would get to experience a daughter. I just didn't think it was ever in the cards for me. My husband, his mom and dad had 2 boys. His dad was one of 3 boys. I mean, it's just like a very, very dominant male. Like no one expected, I think, me to have a girl. That being said, this pregnancy, I have felt from the start that it was a girl. And I couldn't tell if my mind was playing tricks on me because I was just expecting it to be a different gender because of the 2 boys. But I will say with my 2 boys, I felt in my heart that I was having boys. This one, I felt in my heart of hearts that I was having a girl, but I only told Jordan. Jordan and I both actually felt that I was having a girl. And me and him talked about it, but I didn't speak it out loud to other people because I never wanted to seem disappointed if I was having another boy, because obviously all I wanted was a healthy baby. So I didn't. But Jordan and I spoke about it. I really thought I was having a girl. So when I saw that when I got the results back that it was a girl, screamed, couldn't believe it. But I knew it, but I still couldn't believe it. And we both were like so ecstatic. We both just felt in our hearts that it was a girl. I don't know how that's a thing, but I felt that she's a girl and she's a girl. Like, I'm having a girl. I never thought I'd have a daughter. I'm a boy mom. Well, now I'm going to have a girl too. But, I love my boys. Oh my God, I live for my boys and watching them play sports. And my house is loud and rowdy. And I'm such a boy mom. And so this is going to be a huge learning curve. God, these hormones. Do you see what I'm saying? I tear up over everything. This is pregnancy. I mean, I am emotional, but this is out of control. That's another symptom. What is this? A crying? I cry like the other day just to like some stupid Justin Bieber song on the radio for no reason. Hormones. So this is going to be a huge learning curve for me though. I cannot believe that I'm having a daughter. It's crazy. I don't even know. She's going to be so fun and so spoiled. Oh my gosh. Like I can't, like I just like a dollhouse. Like, I want to get a dollhouse. I know I got time, but the clothes, the bows, oh my God. I'm like, I really hope that, I don't know. I'm excited. And I think it kind of works out perfectly because my boys, they're older, 8 and 5. And so they're best friends. And I mean, they fight too because they're brothers, but like they are best friends. And I know that they're going to be such good brothers and protect their little sister. And she's going to probably give them hell because I don't make timid children, okay? I'm not timid. My husband's not timid. My babies aren't timid. I'm sure she's going to come out fiery. And I can't wait. I can't wait to raise a girl to kick some ass. You know what I'm saying? So I'm having a girl. I cannot wait. And that's where I've been. I've been growing a human and crying for no apparent reason and vomiting and sleeping. And I wanted to share this with you guys because it's huge in my life. And I think that like I said, because I've had such a long history of like really bad, I don't want to say bad, but like I've just struggled so much with mental health during my pregnancies. I thought maybe like doing a little bit of like documenting throughout and just talking with you guys maybe will help me have something to like look forward to when it's really hard. Maybe you guys have some words of encouragement, or maybe you've been there. I don't know. So I just thought maybe it could be like therapeutic for me to share some of the journey along the way, because I do want to share with you guys, you know, how things are going. And so I'll definitely keep you updated. So that's going to be all for today's video. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. I can't believe I'm having a girl. And I'll talk to you guys very soon. All right, have a great day. Bye.